$250 billion to $275 billion. I want to introduce you for a moment here to a friend of mine. If you're watching the show a week or so ago, I told you I had a friend in the Pacific Palisades who lost everything. James Borow is a resident of the Pacific Palisades, lost his home to the wildfires. This is James and his wife. He's got two beautiful daughters. This was their home in the Pacific Palisades, okay? That's what it used to be. James, I want to show you this map for a second because he basically lives like 2 minutes or a half a mile away from the local fire station there in the Pacific Palisades. Basically right down the street. You can walk to the fire station, okay? All right, so let me show you some pictures now of what happened because James was away at a work event, not home at the time that the fires broke out. Frank, let's start over here. So this is what his home looked like Tuesday at about 7 local time there in California. You can see the fire started to break out. And then about an hour later, Frank over here to this side, you can see his house was just gone, okay? Just gone. It happened like that in basically less than an hour or so. Back over here, if you don't mind, because at about 8:30 Eastern, then you can see how this really progressed. His home was done. And look at what it is right now. This is the Pacific Palisades. Went from that to that, just like that, basically in an hour's time. James Borow, a friend of mine, joins me live here on the Hill as our coverage continues on NewsNation. James, you just started to share your story. I know it's surreal for you. It's a little surreal for me to talk to you in this moment. I know you. I can see your anger. I can see how upset you are to see what happened to your community and what happened to your livelihood.
Yeah, man, it's surreal. It's one of those things that you really just can't imagine. And as you were showing those pictures, just for people to understand it, you mentioned this, Blake, but I lived a couple minutes away from the fire department. I actually saw those videos through my car. My car was parked outside of my house, and I was able to log in remotely from the Las Vegas airport. I was coming back from a conference, and that's where I saw the house burn down.
So stop there, James, because you're away on a work trip, and you're watching this through your Tesla.
Yeah, I watched it through there. I had a friend reach out and say, I think your neighborhood's in trouble. He said, see if you can see anything in your car, because they cut all the power. There's been no communication at this point, pretty much, from the government. There hasn't been any communication now, 6 days later. And I then logged into my car, and literally the first thing I saw was a flame jump to the side yard, to the garage, and then the whole house, and totally helpless. And the entire time that I watched it, and I've actually logged in numerous times since then, I've not seen one fire truck. There is no government that is involved in any of this. And there are a variety of reasons of why, but I can just tell you, you never thought if you lived down the street from a fire station and your house is on fire that there's not going to be someone that comes and helps, and no one came.
You know tech as well as anyone I know, James, and it strikes me when we were chatting last night a little bit that you say the best thing that's out there right now is simply WhatsApp. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it is, again, surreal is the best way to describe it. Everyone is self-organized around WhatsApp. There's been no communication from the government. We have no idea what's going on. People are being told to apply for different programs. The programs get denied. There's false warnings sometimes about when you should evacuate. So the citizens have taken it upon themselves, and we are all in these WhatsApp groups. That is the only way we have information. It's totally ridiculous, and it's on the back of the fact that the city knew there was a risk here. 1,600 of us got our insurance cut last year. So it wasn't like that this wasn't known. The private sector knew there was a high fire risk in this area. The city did not take any warning of that. If you would have told me that they would not fill the reservoirs, that they would not check the water pressure while everyone was up in arms about our insurance being cut, I would have said there's just no way that's possible. So it's unbelievable.
You mentioned the insurance. State Farm took away your insurance, what, 2-3 weeks ago? How many people do you know of that to be the case as well?
Hundreds.
Huh.
Yeah, and again, I'm lucky. We're totally safe. We have a great support system, but I don't have a single friend in town. And this is, relatively big town. I'm 40 years old. I got 2 kids. I don't have one friend who has their house anymore. But my 5-year-old's elementary school burned. The 3-year-old's preschool burned. The library burned. the place they went to go get dance classes, music class, art class, you name a thing, and it's gone. And every single person's house is gone. It's just, you cannot believe it until you see it. And I can't even see it. I have to log into my car to see it because they won't let us up there yet.
James Borow, a good friend of mine, we used to work together. It was awful when I started seeing this and started thinking about James. Obviously, as I've been interviewing people here for a week now, this is a story that we hear time and time and time again as Southern California now is gearing up for even more winds here in the next couple days. James, thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.